I have bought Madden football games on consoles for 29 years. 29. I'm now 48, so more than half of my life, I have bought a Madden football game at or near launch all that time, dating all the way back to 1991 when I had my Super Nintendo. I've been with the series through the good and the bad. The good times were really good. When EA Tiburon was really being pushed in the PlayStation 2 Xbox era. When it was Madden versus NFL 2K, and all those were such good times because it didn't matter which game you bought. You were getting a winner. You were getting innovations on both sides. Those were good times. The 16-bit era was pretty good. Granted, Super Nintendo fans got the shorter end of the stick as it took a little while for those versions to catch up to the superior Genesis versions, but nevertheless, especially if you had a Genesis, those were great times to be a Madden fan. Moving from not having an NFL license to having an NFL license, to having a brief agreement with Fox to have the Fox theme playing in the background, that was so cool. Seeing and hearing John Madden in the games was cool during the 16-bit and 32/64-bit eras. And even during the PlayStation 2 Xbox era, when you heard Madden a lot. You don't see or hear John Madden these days. It's a name. That's all. I've been through the bad times too. The early Xbox 360, PlayStation 3 versions of Madden that I did not buy at launch. I bought the PlayStation 2 versions because I didn't trust where the games were based on reading reviews, and I was not going to throw $60 away on a Madden game at that point. So I was still buying them for the PlayStation 2, but keeping close tabs on the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 versions of the game. I finally made the transition with Madden 09. And that was because of the anniversary edition, which was really nice. Came with NFL head coach, which wasn't great, but also came with an extras disc, and it was a nice package, and it was enough to sway me and to move me away. But I'll tell you, man, this console generation, the PlayStation 4, Xbox One generation, and I've had issues with this generation anyway. I could make an entire video on why I really don't like this generation of consoles at all. But that's not what this video is about, so I'm not going to stick on that. But Madden games this generation just have not been good. Have not been good at all. Even when the graphics have kind of been fixed, like more has been taken away than added. The presentation hasn't gotten better. After their first year with Brandon Gaudin and Charles Davis doing commentary, like there were issues with timing and with incorrect observations, and it got worse. And the updated commentary was few and far between. But then comes this year. Then comes Madden 21. Came on Tuesday for those of us dumb enough to spend $80 or $100 on deluxe or MVP editions of the game. I spent $100 because I'm stupid. And that's on me. But I was excited. Buying a new Madden every year is a rite of passage for me. It is something that I've done for a long period of time. Up until this year, when the health pandemic that's cast a pall on pretty much everything has cast some doubt onto the football season, every other year before then, it was the doorway to football. It was like, all right, now I can really get jazzed up. This is the gateway. This is when I can start to be excited, when I can start to see players on new teams for the first time and try them out and see how they might do. And I did that this year, knowing in my head that there were going to be issues, knowing that the franchise mode was going to be so untouched that it made people angry, knowing that there was a pandemic and that work from home was going to pose a challenge for EA Tiburon, but I didn't know how much of a challenge that would be. And while that may explain some stuff, it doesn't explain all of it, and I'll get to that. So I preloaded it, and on Tuesday, the 25th of August at midnight, it unlocked. I stopped what game I was playing, and I zoomed over, and I got started. And the first thing I wanted to do was Madden Ultimate Team because I got free stuff. When you buy the MVP edition, you get a ton of free stuff. And of course, you want to see what it is. That's part of the allure of the Ultimate Team stuff is these random packs and the infusion of excitement you get when you open stuff. Maybe I'm going to get something cool. So I try and log into Madden Ultimate Team, and of course the server's broken. And broken and broken. And after like 7 minutes of trying, I gave up. And I went to Face of the Franchise. And Face of the Franchise this year is trash. Sorry if you're a member of EA Tiburon, you worked on it. I'm sure that you tried. But this year, it's garbage. From the unlikable main character to the questionable voice acting to the weird changes in design where now you're not the player on the field. Now you're playing as everybody. It takes you out of a story mode. Past story modes, not just for this game, but for others, put you in the character of the player. So if you're a quarterback, that's what you're doing. If you're a halfback, that's what you're doing. If you're a wideout or a tight end, that's what you're doing. Not only are you playing every single position, you're playing every single snap with no simulation options. So now playing through story mode becomes super long, and not because it's any good, but because you have to play entire full 5-minute quarter games. It's 20 minutes apiece. It's terrible design. I played that as long as I could, and I stopped. I went back to Ultimate Team, and finally it was working. And that's where more problems began, because even though it was working, the menus were slow, unresponsive, they would lock up. So you're trying to go and generate the best team possible after opening packs, and you have to wait for like 10, 15 seconds for stuff to release so you can move on to the next option. In the free stuff you get is crap. Aside from a Lamar Jackson card, which is an 87, like the gold packs that you get are just that. They're gold and nothing but. Gold doesn't feel like gold at this level. There was nothing in the auction house for like at least a couple of days. The challenges within Ultimate Team, the solo challenges, are uninspired, uninteresting. They feel like busy work more than ever before. You just do them just to get them out of the way. The challenge doesn't necessarily feel fair at times, and other times it just feels like a cakewalk. So there's nothing interesting about Ultimate Team unless you're playing someone online. And if you're playing someone online, I hope that you spent $100, $200 so you can get the good cards that are probably out there, which just makes Madden Ultimate Team more pay to win than anything else. Contrast that with my experience with NBA 2K20 this past year, where I paid a grand total of $20, and that $20 was spent in order to fill a card, a quest on Microsoft Rewards, so I got points for it. By the time I finished NBA 2K20, by the time I finished playing it, I just deleted it off my hard drive this week because they're done supporting it. They're getting ready for 2K21 to drop in a couple of weeks. Every single player in my lineup was out Galaxy Opal. Every one. Every one. I had 4 players in my, 3 of them in my starting lineup that were GOAT Opals, which means like 98, 99 across the board. No money out of pocket. And playing the games in NBA 2K20 never felt to me like busy work. Because they were full games. They weren't these achieve this objective or that objective. There were minor objectives here and there, like hold a team below this number or score this number of points. But that was it. You were playing the full games just to play the games. So you were playing a game and you were making progress at the same time. That was great. MUT challenges are not that. Complete 4 passes. Throw for this touchdown. Don't allow the team 20 yards. It stops and it starts. There's no pacing. And like I said, it's uninteresting. And the prizes or rewards don't get any good for a while. So Ultimate Team is a waste unless you're a lifer and you're going to spend hundreds of dollars. Then all power to you. Go ahead and buy this year's game. Franchise? We've heard about the issues of franchise mode for weeks. And it's true. They did nothing. It is Madden 20's franchise mode with a new coat of paint. That's it. Nothing different. No improvements, which it needed, because they're not focusing on it. And that's terrible. So franchise is no good. MUT is no good. Face of the franchise is a waste of time. What about the yard? It's a good concept. Arcade football games, there aren't enough of them. The last arcade football game was like Madden, was Mutant League Football, and that's pretty good. Not as tight as Blitz, but still pretty good. But the yard has just so many problems. It looks nice, and it's a nice concept. I don't know why nobody can catch a pass or hold on to a football. I don't understand it. I played 3 games of the yard, and I was done. I'm like, this is enough. Maybe in future years, if they stick with it, maybe there'll be more to it and more reasons to play. But right now, there's no real reason to try. It's just, it's frustrating, and it doesn't feel like arcade football. If you want arcade football, players have to catch the football a bit more. There need to be bigger plays on both sides of the ball. That's what makes it arcade style. The thrill of the big play. That's not what you see in the yard, at least not initially, not until you grind and until you build up skill sets. You don't grind in an arcade football game. You just sit down and play it. Arcade football games are short burst football games that you just get into right away. There's no price of admission. And of all these problems that I've mentioned, they're not the most egregious to me. To me, the most egregious and the thing that cannot be excused, I do not care how bad this pandemic has been. I do not care how challenging that working from home has been. What is inexcusable are typing mistakes, typos, and completely missing words. This is not 1988. There's got to be better quality control than there is for this game. A game that makes tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars every year. Where was it? Did anyone look? Who are the Seahawks? Seahawks, not Hacks. There are entire words that are missing on still slides. The photo images that they use of football players on these slides are awful. Low resolution. The one with Tom Brady in a Buccaneers uniform is just, it's laughable. It's the most low-res picture of Tom Brady I have ever seen. And that low-res photo of Brady is photoshopped onto a Buccaneers uniform. Jersey. Did they even try? Just be honest. Did they even try? No. Basic stuff like words, spell checking, proofreading. Not important. Not important in a AAA game that costs $60. On top of all of this other stuff that's wrong. So, I'm broken. I think I'm done. I can't support games that do this. I can't. If this was Steam, I wouldn't have gotten a refund already. There are no refunds on Xbox. It's my own fault. I'm not going to be mad at Microsoft for not refunding the money. I'm the idiot that bought it. I should have known better. But I think I've had enough. If I wind up getting an Xbox Series X, like, oh, yeah, great. I get a free copy of Madden 21 for that. Okay. I don't know whether I'm going to bother. Maybe EA Tiburon fixes this stuff as the season goes on. But I don't know, man. Like, I can't keep doing this. These games are expensive, and I understand that going in. Again, I bear responsibility. I am owning it. But no more. If EA Tiburon doesn't care, or if it's proven that EA Tiburon is not up to the task of development, especially in times like this, or if EA is not going to extend their deadlines because they can't meet them, it's not worth the money. It's not worth the money for me. It's not worth the money for you. Stick with Madden 20. It's cheaper. You can get used copies of it just about anywhere. The franchise mode is basically the same, and you should be able to reconfigure the rosters to be pretty close to what we might see on the field next month. But just from here on, just don't. If you're thinking about buying Madden 21, I urge you not to. It's your money. You spend it how you wish. I was dumb enough to do so, but I urge you not to do it. Think twice. In EA Tiburon, you have pushed me to my limit. After almost 30 years of loyalty, I think I'm done. And that's a damn shame.